Alright, welcome to a video on graphing quadratic inequalities. So, this is very similar to our graphing quadratic equations, just like when we graphed our linear inequalities, it was very similar to graphing our linear equations. The only difference is we're going to have to do some shading. So, here's our steps. We're still going to find our vertex and plot. We're in the xy table, we're still going to pick two x values to the left and two to the right of our vertex. We're still going to fill out our xy table. The difference is here, whenever we plot the points connect, it's either going to be with a solid line or a dotted line. And then we're going to shade to show where our answers lie. So our line, in case you forgot from our linear inequalities, the line is a solid line if it is a less than or equal to, or a greater than or equal to. The equal to is what makes it solid. And it's dotted if it's strictly less than or strictly greater than, showing that our answer cannot lie on that line, so it's dotted. Shading, we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to pick a point and check. Hopefully we can pick 0, 0. But if we can't, we can always pick another point. So, let's start off with an example. Y equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. So, we're going to find the vertex. First, let's label our A, B, and C. So, A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 1. So, negative 2 over 2 times 1, which equals negative 1. We plug that back in to find y, so y equals negative 1 squared. Remembering that when we plug in a new number, when we substitute, we always put in parentheses. Plus 2 times negative 1 plus 1. So we get 1 plus negative 2 plus 1, which gives us 0. So we see that our vertex is at negative 1, 0. Now I'm going to pick 2 points to the left, so negative 2, negative 3, 2 points to the right, 0 and 1. Now I'm just going to fill out the XY chart. And again, I'm going to be writing this down and then erasing it because I don't have a lot of room, as you can see. So you need to be writing down everything that you see whenever I fill out this XY chart. Don't just stop. Okay, so let's start with the negative 2. So we're going to plug in negative 2. So y equals negative 2 squared plus 2 times negative 2 plus 1. So we get 4 minus 4 plus 1, which equals 1. Okay, now we're going to do negative 3. So change this to a negative 3. I'm going to change all these other ones to negative 3's. So you will need to rewrite this, but I'm just going to save us time, I'm just going to erase. So throw in some negative 3's. 9 minus 6 plus 1, that is 4. And if you recall from our linear from our quadratic equations, 0 should be 1 and 1 should be 4 if we picked the right order. But just in case, I'm going to go ahead and do those in here just to be sure, because I don't want to make a math mistake and you don't want to make a math mistake either. Okay, so I do 1 squared is 1 plus 2 plus 1. Yep, that's 4. So all good there. Now we're going to plug in zeros. 0, 0. 0 plus 0 plus 1, which is also 1. So hey, it worked out. Now we're going to plot those points. Now I know you know how to plot some points, so to save us some time in the video, I'm going to pause the video and plot all those points. Okay, so there are the points plotted. Now we have to look and say, are we going to do a solid line or a dotted line? And I just changed this up here at the top. I meant to put a greater than or equal to symbol, but I made an equal symbol, so go ahead and change that at the beginning. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so it is a greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to means that it's going to be a solid line. So we're going to get our solid parabola going. Make sure it goes all the way up the graph. Finally, we have to test a point, and it looks like we can test 0, 0. So 0, 0 is right here. So we're going to test to see if it's true or false. So we're going to plug in 0, 0 to test. Let me see that we get 0 greater than or equal to 0 squared plus 2 times 0 plus 1. Is 0 greater than or equal to 1? It's false. If it's false, we shade where our test point isn't. So our test point is outside the parabola. So because our test point is outside the parabola, we're going to shade inside the parabola. So we're going to sing shade, shade, shade. We love to shade. So there we go. There's our answer. Now I want you to go ahead and try to do this on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and do that now. Alright, and here is the answer to that example. I want you to notice that for the 2 and the negative 2 that I chose, that it was 17 for my y value, and that's way off the graph. So whenever that happens, just do your best to guess how the parabola is going to go. You're normally going to get at least 3 points on the graph in order to work. Remember, if you have questions on any of this, you need to pause the video and ask now, not wait for later. Once all your questions are answered and everything, you're good to move on to the next thing.